my god, this guy is pretty juiced. Hey guys, how's it going? Firebox here. I want to share with you my high PDR HP Bonk Wizard, which can compete head-to-head with Barbarian in melee range. It feels pretty strong, so I want to go ahead and share with you everything I think you need to know about this build and how to build it. Let's go ahead and get started. First things first, perks and skills. You're going to need Staff Mastery. This is non-negotiable. It is the best perk for Wizard for this build. It makes the magic staff work and scale with your magic damage. Very strong. Reactive shield, you're going to be getting hit in melee with this build, especially with the amount of barbarians still around. I've noticed a pretty good array of different classes, but as soon as I put on my wizard to try to punish some of these PDR fighters I've been seeing, of course, all the barbarians come out. So I do use this and ice shield to give myself a little bit more armor, but just the slow from being attacked and the reactive shield giving me that extra headshot protection, because when you do have a shield up, it helps protect your head. It is pretty good. It improves your survivability by quite a lot in melee range, and I've decided to run Fire Mastery instead of Quick Chance because I've noticed the 5% damage and the small burn duration kind of adds up pretty well. The reduction in healing is kind of nice. I'm not sure how useful it really is for this in solos, but the extra damage just feels good, so I decided to run it. For the spells, I've decided to go with Fireball, Zap, Explosion, Invisibility, and Ignite. Now, Ice Bolt is a thing that I got rid of, that I used to run in place of Explosion, but I found this to be pretty useful. You can use it for zoning and to keep people kind of either away from you or in a spot that they can't move to because of the delay in explosion damage, which is pretty strong. It is a little bit weak because you don't have Ice Bolt for attacking people that are charging at you, such as Barb, but it feels okay because you can already compete with Barbs in melee, so I think this is just not needed for this build. And I think all of the other spells at this point are required. You can try to substitute if you want, but you have to keep Ignite. Zap feels strong. Fireball is good for doors. I think you can use Explosion for doors too, but Fireball is a lot quicker use. It just generally feels really good. And Invis, the movement speed and the Invis it gives you feels better, in my opinion, than Haste. I considered running Haste instead of Invisibility, but not only that, but the mob aggro going away from you is kind of useful too. Now, as far as the build goes, we're going to be using the Magic Staff. I went for additional weapon damage, max health, magic damage bonus, and fizz damage bonus. Leather Cap with additional magic damage, which is the primary stat you're going to want. Regal Gambeson, the most important stat here is going to be max HP. Heavy Leather Leggings, max health again is the most important stat. Riveted Gloves, you want to make sure you get as close to 15 strength as possible because you are going to be dealing physical damage with your staff, which is pretty important, especially because some Barbs are running high MDR. You kind of just need to make sure you're dealing full damage. Even though the staff damage is kind of low, it's still important. Feel free to grab Vigor for the gloves as well. For the rings, we're going to just be using Grim Smile rings. I have additional magic damage on this one and this one as well. For the cloak, I'm going to be running the Vigor Cloak with true magical damage. I think that's the most important stat for this piece. Boots, running the Rugged Boots with movement speed. I think just stacking as much health as possible, since we're going for PDR as well, is quite nice. The Wind Locket, because I want the additional armor. My goal is to reach as close to 40% PDR as possible, and I do grab true magic damage and max health on here. Can get a little pricey. I think the max health and true magic are both really good. If you had to choose one, I'd probably choose the magic damage. And Crossbow is the addition. I have changed out the spellbook. I think the spellbook is really good, but it's kind of nice having this additional damage, especially because it's physical, not magic, and of course it can scale with Ignite too. But really it just comes down to being able to beat Barbs as efficiently as possible, and sometimes just having that crossbow damage when a Barb is chasing you just feels pretty nice. And it can be used in some other situations as well. If it's in a spot where you can't really cast your spells, keep in mind you are pretty slow with this build. So running 148 HP, 289 movement speed, so yeah, not the fastest build. We're running 40% physical damage reduction and only 10% magic resistance. So what do I think is good against this build? And what do I think this build is good against? This build is great against PDR fighters. It's the reason I started playing this class. I know normal wizard is good too, but this build is still just as good, if not better, because you can 100% compete in melee against them. So if you're seeing a lot of them, feel free to use this and go ahead and destroy them. Rondel Dagger Fighter and Crystal Sword Fighter should be losing to this 9 times out of 10. I think you can beat Barbs with this build. They can beat you, but I think you stand a pretty good chance. I think it's good against rogues. If you're pre-ignited, they're just going to die. Even if you're not ignited, I think you still will just kill them in probably 2 hits. I think bards can be pretty tough if they're survival locating you. Rangers can be pretty tough if they're survival locating you. The reality is, even though we have range access, this is kind of a melee build with range secondary. While this build can be a little bit expensive, I think it is quite strong, and it's very enjoyable as well. So I'm going to show you a little bit more PvP that I had. I did play it, not for a whole lot of time, just because I noticed there were so many barbs when I queued with this, and I was trying to fight fighters, and they just weren't there. So enjoy that. And I do have a little bonus clip at the end, sharing a little bit of my 40 will cleric build. I used to run this way back in the day, and I wanted to go ahead and try that out again. Maybe I'll make another video with cleric sometime upcoming. If you guys want to see more Dark and Darker content, be sure to like this video, subscribe for future content, and I am streaming live on Twitch. Feel free to check me out there. The link will be in the description of this video. That's how you can find this kind of gameplay live. And thanks to Justin Duve and Pressure for supporting this video. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, now we're cooking. Barb down. Yeah, Crossy and throwing knives are actually pretty useful. Hey. Oh, wow. You actually had, you had some okay gear. Not bad. Bro, he's just looting my body because there's 3 centipedes. What is this? Like, what? You gotta be kidding me. Damn. That was fun. That was actually a pretty fun fight for me. Shit. Yes! Yes! Oh, Lord. That's one hell of a bardiche. Not that it... Although I might have to just drop it. Oh yeah, I definitely want to leave as soon as possible. Didn't kill him? Shit. Nika, Vista, Julian?